Hey, welcome to Fantasy Football Live. I'm TJ Jefferson. I'm here with my man Justin Mooney. We want to get you ready for week 9 of the season by letting you know who our top waiver wire pickups are. So Justin, quarterback, pickings are slim. Who's out there?
Well, it's week 9, so you should have made plans for this. But if injuries have hit you or whatever, a guy you can look at is Vince Young. Vince Young, he runs. That's really all you're taking him for. He's not a great passer. He's never been a great passer, but he's a guy, if he can get you a touchdown, if he can get you 50, 60 yards, that's a bonus on top of whatever passing he does. He doesn't have a great matchup this week, but he's a guy you might want to pick up, put on the bench, and see what he does. He's had a lot of time to think, a lot of time to work on his game, and he could be someone that rebounds, and we can see what he can do for the rest of the year.
What about running back? Anyone there that you're looking at?
Well, I'm looking at Ryan Moats, and really everyone is. He jumped into the national scene with 3 touchdowns last week. Steve Slayton keeps putting the ball on the ground. So now Houston hasn't made a decision on what they're doing yet. Is it going to be Slayton? How much is Brown going to be involved? I think Moats is a guy you definitely want to pick up. He's going to get touches for sure, and it's just a matter of whether is it going to be split carries or is he going to be the feature back.
And you also have 2 other guys that you like, correct?
I got a couple other guys I like. This week, depending on Kevin Smith's help, I like Maurice Morris. He's going back to Seattle, so there's a revenge factor in there. He got about 10 points last week, and Detroit does get points for the running back, so I think he's definitely a guy to look at. And one more guy to look at, he's not playing this week, but he's a guy that's produced an average of 10 points, over 10 points the last 3 weeks, and that's Justin Fargas. I mean, yes, he's on the Raiders, and they're just fantasy garbage, but he's actually put up some decent numbers, and if you're going to own anyone on that team right now, he's the guy you want to have.
All right, now we're going to move on to wide receiver, and I know there's a few guys lingering out there, so tell them who you got.
Well, Chris Chambers was released from San Diego this week, and so Malcolm Floyd, who's already had 50 yards or a touchdown the last 3 weeks, he now moves into the number 2 position. He's a huge target. He's someone that Phil Rivers already has a rapport with, and I think he's going to increase those numbers. He could be 70 yards, 80 yards, and maybe a touchdown here or there. He's a good guy to have the rest of the year. He's a wide receiver 3, but he's a guy that you're going to be able to spot start in good matchups like this week against the Giants. Another guy to look at is, we said to drop him. Well, now we're telling you to pick him back up. That's Terrell Owens. He's the player. He's got great matchups after his bye week against Jacksonville and Tennessee. Those are bad pass defenses. He had a nice 30-something yard run last week. So he's getting a little more involved in the offense, and he is just a Hall of Fame talent. So I don't think we can quite put the fork in there, even though I've been trying to stick it in. It's not quite in yet. So Terrell Owens, if he's been dropped, pick him up. Maybe he'll do something for you in 2 weeks.
Okay, now tight end. I know the pickings are real slim, but is there anyone out there?
There are so many good tight ends that were out there, and we've been telling you to pick them up. The Vernon Davis, the Brent Selleck. All right, well, now it's crunch time. And against Tampa Bay, Green Bay is starting Don Lee. Donald Lee, because Jarmichael Finley is out, Don Lee's a guy that you can pick up and kind of cross your fingers and hope to get something. He's got 33 targets on the year. He is involved. Don't worry about what Havner did last week or a few weeks ago when he got those touchdowns. Those are just vulture touchdowns. Don Lee's the involved tight end in this offense. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a bit banged up. The offensive line is not getting better, so he's going to be checking down. He's going to be looking for Don Lee, and he's someone that could maybe, sneak you a touchdown or something.
Okay, what about defense?
Well, defense, there's actually a great start for the week out there, and that's Seattle. They're hosting Detroit. Now, Seattle's played 2 really awful teams. That was Jacksonville and St. Louis. They shut both of those teams out, had monster fantasy weeks. Well, now they're playing Detroit, and Detroit, you can have a monster fantasy week against them. So when Seattle plays a bad team, and Detroit is a bad team, they're actually a really good start, and they're available in a lot of leagues. So if you need a defense, or if you've only got an average defense, look for Seattle, pick them up.
Saying Detroit is bad is like saying Halle Berry is kind of cute. I think you're vastly understating the terribleness that is the Detroit Lions.
Well, as a Chicago Bear fan, I don't mind kicking them when they're down.
Well, there you go. Those are our top waiver wire pickups for week 9. For Justin Mooney, I'm TJ Jefferson. Good luck, and we'll see you next week on Fantasy Football Live.